All right, so I'm going to be going over these trends. I'm trying to speak a little bit louder and clearer. Hope you all can hear me. Anyway, so we'll take a look here. What happened here? You had a climax, you had demand, you have higher high, confirmation, etc. And then the market basically pulled back, more demand came in, it kept on going until you had like a climax. But the thing is, this is potential climax. You don't really know. So there has to be a sequence of events. And the thing is, the sign of weakness after that, there was selling pressure, there was all of that, but all it did was go to a breakout level. If that's all that the move does, it's suspect. Why? Because there are always buyers at the breakout level, and that's what makes that's the problem. It has to go through the breakout, and it has to have a breakout of its own. So again, over here, same thing happened. It breaks out, but it comes back down into a breakout level right there. And so, you back off. You're taught to believe that this is distribution up here, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? Right at the top. But you don't really know until those sequences of events where trend is formed. All structures, whatever they look like, patterns don't mean anything. It could just be random behavior. It could be preliminary distribution. Trend needs to form. It's that simple. You need trend to form, breaks of levels. Then, after trend forms, breaks of levels, then everything else, all those behaviors matter. But until then, they don't mean shit. Again, over here, you had a climax, and then it keeps climaxing. But this time, what do you have? You have that weakness, and that weakness is big in terms of price and volume behavior. And the best part is all of this volume came in, that 34,000 contracts, which is bigger than everything else. And then it broke. So this is a different game. Now you know that you have a climax. In fact, you had climax, effort reward, blah, blah, blah. I mean, take a look at this. 12,000 at the same resistance level. And does it do anything? Does it do anything? No, it goes the opposite way, breaks all these levels, and then on big price and volume. So now, after breaking those levels, you can take a look at whatever, and then realize that this is distribution up here, right? So before that, you really don't know. You just don't know. All of this pattern, whatever sideways movement, can be anything, right? But because you have potential climaxes on heavy volume, you have a lot of volume here, the biggest in the uptrend, and then the break with the breakout, taking out multiple lows, the confidence level for this trade is sky high, right? Even effort reward right here that failed, already went to resistance, already tested, then breaks, then it sets up the move down. Now, as it goes down, one of the things you have to notice is the high time frame, because it stopped right at the high time frame breakout level. So that's where it stops. So you just have to know that. If you don't know that, then you could be misled, because the picture will be formed by taking the higher time frame and the lower time frame and the behavior and piecing it all together. Then you realize that this is a trend, but it's just a minor pullback on a higher time frame to a breakout level. And then what happens from the breakout level? The buyers are still there. How do you know they're still there? You get demand. You don't need a signal. This is, any indicator will tell you, price-based indicator will tell you that there's heavy buying coming because of the price move from the breakout level. After that, the market tests and has a nice little uptrend right here. It's a small move. It's not really that big, but it's good enough. And after that, supply is there. Why? It's at resistance. On a higher time frame, it's at resistance. A higher brick size in this case. As long as you have that, you can form the picture. Otherwise, you get all confused. So this was actually like some high back here. That's why I knew that, you know, this is just, it's just from resistance. You have selling pressure, break, break, supply comes in, tests, goes down, done. So couple of things to keep in mind. One, when you have selling pressure, it has, one of the things that makes that selling pressure work is the background when you have climaxes. Before that, they're only potential climaxes. They're not confirmed. They're only confirmed after the sign of weakness. Your climax doesn't mean anything unless there's a sign of weakness or supply or change of behavior or whatever. Even a secondary test after climax, you don't know. You just don't know. It can continue to go higher and higher on even more volume. So you need to be able to see the breaks and see the volume that's there and ask yourself, why is it that all of this volume, look at this. You see this? The volume is 34. What do you get for it? In terms of thrust, you get 1. 1. All this volume, what do you get for it? 1. Obviously, there's a problem. Obviously, there's a problem. When before that you had 24,000, which gives you 5 units of thrust. 24,000 gave you 5 bricks of thrust. Then even more than 24, meaning 34,000, gave you 1/5. It only gave you 1 unit brick of thrust. It's game over. You know, game over. After that, when it went to support level, you know, market came big volume. At first, I was skeptical about the volume, but when you look at the higher brick size, you realize that the volume does make sense because the market went to a breakout level, and you know buyers are there, right? So they're buying because they don't want their position to go underwater. They're defending their breakout position, and they're defending it is shown in the volume because they're defending it with 77,000 contracts and good thrust. And after that, it set up the pullback and it rallies a little bit more, giving you a small trade, nothing spectacular, but whatever. And after that, when it goes to resistance, you have selling, you have a breakout, you have more selling, and there's your break of, you know, you see over here the thrusts, they're predominantly orange, and now it's predominantly black, telling you trend has changed and established a short. This one little orange here doesn't mean nothing. It's only 1. You know, if it was like 3 or 4 and whatever, that then would be meaningful. But you see black, 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 black. So trend is down. Anyway, long story short, the key things to take away here are is right here, the high amount of volume, and ask yourself, with all that volume, why didn't they support the pullback? If all that volume comes in, why didn't they support the pullback? If it was smart money volume or whatever CM volume, composite man volume, why didn't they hold the pullback? Wouldn't they support their position? Yeah. So what happened? Did they support? No, it went the other way. So that tells you that direction has changed. All right, and then over here in this brick right here, you had a lot of selling. 12 effort reward, 12,000 contracts in one brick, couldn't do anything, couldn't even couldn't break out, went the other way. When it went the other way, set up the trade to go down. Other thing I showed was effort reward on heavy volume, big problem. Shortening of the thrust with effort reward. Shortening of the thrust with a heavy volume is effort reward. Effort reward, but from a shortening of the thrust perspective. The other thing is, why didn't these selling waves work? Meaning, why didn't they break the market? Yes, they have good thrust. The reason is they are going to break out levels and stopping. If they're going to break out levels, there's a problem. They have to penetrate the former breakout level and go through it. Otherwise, if they can't do that, then the selling pressure has failed. This failed because it went to this breakout and rejected this breakout. So when it went down, it went to this breakout and rejected. So the buyers are still there. So it has to break through. Did it break through? No. Here again, fuck, 1 second. Here again, this breakout level, you have heavy pressure, and it looks like, okay, climax, secondary test, sign of weakness, but it just goes to the breakout level and it rejects. So the selling, it could be profit taking, but whatever, but it doesn't break trend until those levels are taken out. Meaning the buyers at the breakout level are unable to absorb the selling, and the lows are also broken. Otherwise, the selling is just, it hasn't succeeded in creating trend. All right, take care. Bye.